Mr. Carson has also dabbled as a Fox News pundit and is the only black presidential candidate from either party.
To dabble means to take part in an activity in a casual or superficial way. Typically, you might imagine some fairly wealthy person who gets involved in business, but they're too busy going out to lunch and playing golf and doing all sorts of things that rich people do, that they don't have that much time to devote to their business. And for them, it doesn't really make that much of a difference anyway, because they weren't really planning on making that much money, and they don't have to make that much money anyway. The idea of dabble comes from the idea of dab or daub. For example, you can get a little bit of skin cream and you can daub it on your face, or you can get a dab of something else, again, put it on your face, or put a dab on your hands, or put a dab of toothpaste on your toothbrush. It's basically a small amount of some creamy stuff that you put on something. So in this sense, you can imagine, let's say, somebody dabbling in painting, where they get their paint and their easel, and then they put the brush in the color, and they put a little dab on the canvas, and they say, wow, that's pretty good. So they went to a lot of trouble, it seems, but they didn't actually accomplish very much because they didn't try very hard on the actual work. So that's where the idea of dabble comes from. It's where somebody just puts in enough work to sort of use up the time, and they're not really concerned about whether they're successful or not. So in this context, Mr. Carson also has dabbled as a Fox News pundit, which means that Mr. Carson, I'm presuming it's the doctor that's running for president, that people think that he's dabbling in running for president, similarly to how people might think that Donald Trump is dabbling running for president. He's not really taking it very seriously. He's just using it to get in front of people and blow up his ego. When I first started my career, I dabbled in a number of different areas. I dabbled in sales, I dabbled in accounting, I think I even dabbled in research. Then after a while, it took a few years, I realized that it was necessary to focus on a particular area, or else my experience would be too thin to be very good in any one particular area. My friend John, he likes to dabble in the stock market. Fortunately, he's very rich because he's lost a lot of money. Every time there's a panic, he gets all crazy and he sells at the low. And then every time they come along with the high and everybody is screaming about how much higher it's going to go, he buys in right before the crash. Perfect dabbler. If he had to do it for a living, he would have been fired at this point.
Mr. Carson has also dabbled as a Fox News pundit and is the only black presidential candidate from either party.
A pundit is an expert in something. Usually it would be somebody that's described by other people as being an expert. But of course somebody could describe themselves as an expert too. It's also oftentimes used on television to describe a particular authority for some subject. For example, Bill Nye is a pundit on global warming. He is taken to be an expert. He seems to understand global warming, so they get him on TV and then he explains it to everybody. A lot of pundits on TV, they make so much from being a pundit that they don't actually have to do the work anymore. Just be an expert. And when they're not being a pundit on TV, a lot of them do pretty well being a pundit, giving testimony at different trials. Of course, in some areas, to be a pundit, you actually have to be doing the thing or else people don't trust your skills. For example, medical examiners that give testimony, they actually have to be medical examiners, because if they ever stop doing it, then people start to doubt whether they're truly pundits at all. My friend John, he's a real pundit when it comes to Middle East politics. I tend to think that I know something about it, but as soon as he starts to talk, he's got so much depth of information that I can't do much more than just agree with everything that he says.
That's all for today. Tom Taylor is an ESL tutor. He teaches English in the United States and outside, all over the world, using Skype. He can be reached at his website, which is
ESL-fullsteamahead.com.
Click on this link and check out his website and email with questions. Thank you, Tom, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.